Hi everyone, welcome to another set in the LRDI practice series. So first pause this video, try this set yourself and then proceed on with the rest of the solution. Now let's understand what is mentioned in this particular set. So this says Rudra has little less than 300 marbles which he is arranging based on a specific color scheme. He has a total of 16 identical boxes of each of the 4 types B1, B2, B3 and B4. So total number of boxes would be 4 into 16, that is 64, right? So B1 ke bhi 16, B2 ke bhi 16, B3 ke 16, B4 ke bhi 16. 64 a total of boxes which have been arranged in a 4 cross 4 grid as shown in the figure below. Right, he has kept 4 boxes B1, B2, B3, B4 in each of these 16 slots in a 4 cross 4 grid as shown in the figure. Now, if we understand what he's saying in this particular passage till this point, he's saying he has arranged all these 64 boxes in this 4 by 4 grid. So, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there are a total of 16 slots he's talking about. And in each of these 16 slots, he has placed 4 boxes. One of each type B1, B2, B3 and B4. So in C1 column and R1 row, he has placed all these 4 boxes. One of B1, one of B2, one of B3 and one of B4 type. So he has done for all these 64 boxes that he had with him. Right, this is what is said till this particular point. Next, every box has a certain number of marbles in it and the number of marbles is represented by the number shown on the boxes. Data of the blank boxes are missing. So right, so we notice all these numbers which he has mentioned. This is actually the number of marbles in this particular box. Some values are obviously missing, so we'll have to figure out the remaining values maybe. Right, so these numbers are representing the number of marbles. Next, in each slot, the boxes have been filled with a number of marbles in a non-decreasing order from left to right. Okay, now when we talk about any slot, let's say just say C1 column and R1 row mein 4, 4, this is empty, not empty, this is currently unknown and followed by 6. So he's saying the boxes have been filled with a number of marbles in a non-decreasing order. Non-decreasing order doesn't necessarily mean increasing order. You'll have to be very careful in this. Non-decreasing order simply means कि आपका decrease नहीं होगा कभी भी current value आपकी. That means value या तो आपकी same भी रह सकती है आगे बढ़ते हुए या फिर आपका value increase भी हो सकती है. So we'll have both these possibilities. जैसे कि C1 column and R1 में 4, 4 something 6 is kept, right? So we cannot have 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. ये सब values आपकी नहीं हो सकती because it will be decreasing, goes against the gist of this passage. So it has to be non-decreasing. So it could be either increasing or it could also be same. जैसे कि अगर मैं आपसे यहाँ से सोचने को बोलूँ, so on this particular place, what we can keep is, we can keep a 4, we can also keep a 5, we can also keep a 6. But we cannot keep a 7 because for 7 ke corresponding 6 would be decreasing. So that is exactly what is meant by this line, right? Now, except for some boxes of the second row, the number of marbles in each box is a single digit number. Now, this could be very important, except for the boxes in the second row. So we notice in the second row, there are, yeah, there may be more than this, but currently we see that there is one box with a 2-digit number. He's saying there could be other boxes as well, but this will be only true for the second row, that only second row could contain boxes of number which is a 2-digit number. Every other row will have boxes with a single digit number marbles in it. Right, so we understand this particular sentence. Now there are other conditions as well. There are 16 boxes in any of the 4 columns, right, as well as in any of the 4 rows. We already noticed the 16 in one row, 16 in any of the column also. It is known that the average number of marbles, this looks very important, it is known that the average number of marbles kept in the 16 boxes in any column or in any row is an integral value. So this is very important, that the average of all these boxes 16, 16, 16, 16 has to be an integer. Right? Now, what conclusion do we get from this? This is very important. I can simply say if the average of all the 16 boxes in any of the rows or any of the columns is integral, That also means the sum of all the numbers in any row or in any column has to be divisible by 16. Only then it will be a integral average, right? So we'll look for multiples of 16. That is what we could do in this particular case. It is also known, last condition, it is also known that the number of marbles kept in each of the 7 boxes whose data is missing in the diagram in the first row are even. So it is clearly mentioning only the first row. So the values in the first row which are missing are even. So this could be a good starting point. Maybe this will help in the solving this particular passage. Now on based of this, we have these following 4 problems. So first we'll have to fill this grid. So let's start solving this grid. So where do we start off with? Now, सबसे पहले देखते हैं कहाँ पे we can uniquely figure out all the numbers. So currently अगर जैसे आप रो 1 से स्टार्ट करो, रो 1 में we already know यहाँ पे even values आपके missing है. So it could be either 4 as well as 6. So we cannot really clear say what is the value in this. We cannot also say for C2. We cannot also say for C3. But when it comes to C4, the starting value is 2. The ending value is 3. It has to be either equal or increasing, but it cannot have an odd value. So the only value left in this particular C4 and R1 slot is 2 followed by 2. Right? I hope you understood this. Right? It cannot be 3 because it will be an odd number. Right? This could have been true for other rows, but only for this R1 row, the values have to be even. So यहाँ पे 2 place हो जाएगा, यहाँ पे 2 place हो जाएगा. Then R2 row में can we say anything like this? Yes. For R2 and C2, this slot, this is 7, this is also 7. तो बीच में आपका ना decrease हो सकता है ना increase हो सकता है. So the only possibility is obviously 7. What about C3 R2? No, we cannot say. What about C4 R2? No, we cannot say. Next, in this particular slot, we can have again 5, 6, 7, 4, 5 again, 5, 6, 7. In this also we'll have multiple possibilities. In this also we'll have multiple possibilities. R4 C1. So 4 5, it can be either 4 5 and 6, not 4, either 5 or 6. It could again be 1 2 and 3. It could again be 2 and 3. But when it comes to this is 2, this is 2, though it has to be 2 in this particular block. Right, so these are the only simple possibilities which we can actually fill from here. Now let's proceed further. Now let's start from rows and columns where maximum values have been filled or minimum values are all, now vacant, right? So first thing I noticed is about this C4 column. Now we remember from this condition that the average in all the 4 rows or all the 4 columns has to be integral, and we concluded from that the sum of all the numbers in each of the 4 rows and each of the 4 columns have to be a multiple of 16. So let's look out for the possibilities of the average in some columns and some rows where maximum information is given. So we could start off with C4. Now C4 में currently अगर आप sum देखोगे, so it is 2 plus 2 plus 3. So this is 6 plus 3, 9, 9, 10, 10 and 7, 17. 17 and 3 would be 20, 20 and 6 and 1, 27, 27 plus 4, 27 plus 4 would be 31, 31 and 6 would be 37. So we currently have 37. Now a multiple of 16 closest to this would be 16 into 3, 48. Now if you think, can we go ahead of 48? No, we cannot really go because only 2 blocks are vacant and the maximum value we could fit here is 5 and 6. So maximum 11 could increase, right? So we cannot go above 48 because then 37 to 64 would be the next possibility, but we cannot adjust these 2 values. So that way we can actually conclude the sum of all these numbers in this particular column is actually going to be 48 and nothing else. Now what could be the numbers left? Now this becomes very easy because 37 was already there from the numbers already given, right? And 48, we need to reach 48, so we need an increment of 11. So if you notice here, even though we have multiple possibilities, that is 2 3 4 5, and here we have 3 4 6, but 11 can be gotten by using only the maximum possibilities for these 2 blocks, and that is 5 and 6, right? If already the maximum is getting you the addition of 11, we cannot go below it. That is why the values in these two blocks have to be 5 and 6, right? So this is actually going to be our main idea while filling all the vacant boxes. Now let's proceed further. Now अब यहाँ पे किस कॉलम को आप नोटिस कर सकते हो? राइट नाउ आई नोटिस दिस R2 रो. नाउ R2 रो में मैक्सिमम एक्चुअल वैल्यूज पता चल चुकी हैं. वी नीड ओनली 2 वैल्यूज. सो क्या करते हैं, सबसे पहले हम R2 का टोटल चेक कर लेते हैं. सो करेंटली R2 का टोटल कितना है? 5 + 5 is 10, 10 3 17, 13, 13 + 7 is 20, 20 and maybe 14, 34, 34 and 8, that is 42, 42 and 8 50, 58, 58 and 10 68, 68, 69, 69 plus 2 71 and 71 plus 10 is 81. It is currently 81. Now what is that multiple ahead of 81? That is a multiple of 16. So we could say the multiple is 96. 16 into 6 is 96. So can we go ahead of 96? So it has to be 16 into 7. But that value cannot be reached because only 2 values are left. And the maximum we could fill in these two blocks is 10 and 5, 15. We could only get ahead by 15. And that is what we actually have to do. So that is why we cannot go ahead of 96. We have to reach only 96. 96 ही actually इनका समझाएगा. That is an increment of 15 and the same thing again happen because यहाँ पे हम कह रहे हैं कि 15 आपको और वैल्यू आपको बढ़ानी पड़ेगी to get it to 96 and maximum वैल्यू यहाँ पे आप जो फिट कर सकते हो could be 5 and 10. So maximum से ही आपका 15 बन रहा है. So और कोई possibility हो नहीं सकती. That is why यहाँ पे आपका क्या fill हो जाएगा? This will be 5 and this will be 10. Right, and the sum of this R2 row would be 96. Right, so this is not too difficult. This is a little time consuming maybe, but this is easy to go ahead with. Now what are the next possibilities? अब यहाँ पे कहाँ पे हम नोटिस करना स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं? So now the next thing I notice is this R4, because R4 में currently अगर आप देखोगे ना तो जो remaining values are very small. So you'll have to try that first. So let's count the sum currently. So it is 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus this is 6, 16, 16 and this is 5, 21, 21 and this is 9. So this is 30, 30 and 36. So we currently have 36 in this particular row. Now what is a multiple ahead of 36, which is a multiple of 16? We could say 48. Now can it go ahead of 48? Let's check. Currently अगर आप नोटिस करोगे यहाँ पे जो वैल्यूज रिमेनिंग है, मैक्सिमम कितना हो सकता है आपका? यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम 3 हो सकता है, यहाँ मैक्सिमम 3 हो सकता है एंड यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम 6 हो सकता है. तो 6 plus 3 plus 3 would give you 12. एंड अगर आप तुरंत से नोटिस करो, वी ऑलरेडी नीड 12. So 12 के ऊपर तो जा नहीं सकता. So we cannot have any multiple ahead of 48. So we need exactly 48 and 48 बनने के लिए भी we already have only one unique possibility. That is we need a 6 here, we need a 3 here and we need a 3 here. The maximum possible values. So इस रो का भी sum same logic से निकल गया. That is 48. Now let's go to the C1. C1 आपका जो कॉलम है, इस कॉलम में अगर आप नोटिस करोगे दो ही वैल्यूज मेंशन्ड है, आपके रिमेनिंग है. सो लेट्स ऐड दीज अप. सो 6 plus 4 10, 14. सो 14 and this is 14 and 8, this is 22. 22 and 10 is 32. 32 and 10 is 42. 42 and 7 49. 49 and maybe this 9 is 58. 58 and this 12, 58 and this 12 would give you 70. So we currently have 70 in this particular column. Now 70 के ऊपर आपका 16 का मल्टीपल कौन सा आएगा? डायरेक्टली आपका पहला मल्टीपल 80 आएगा एंड दूसरा फिर तो 96 आएगा. अगेन चेक करते हैं मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल वैल्यूज के अराउंड, मे बी उसमें आपका वैल्यूज ही फिट हो जाए. सो इसमें अगर आप नोटिस करोगे, इसमें मैक्सिमम क्या आ सकता है आपका? 6 आ सकता है, राइट? यहाँ 6 आ सकता है और यहाँ मैक्सिमम आपका 7 आ सकता है. सो द मैक्सिमम इट कुड इंक्रीज इज बाई 6 plus 7 13. सो 70 से 96 तो नहीं जाएगा, राइट? सो इट हैज टू रीच 80. सो एक चीज फिक्स हो जाएगी इस पर्टिकुलर कॉलम के लिए, दैट द सम इज गोइंग टू बी 80. नाउ 80 ले जाने के लिए आपको 70 से 80 आपको 10 का इंक्रीमेंट करना पड़ेगा. सो लेट्स चेक कि क्या पॉसिबिलिटीज हो सकती हैं, बिकॉज इस पर्टिकुलर ब्लॉक के लिए C1R1 रो में ये जो पर्टिकुलर ब्लॉक है इसमें भी रिमेंबर कि इट कैन नॉट कंटेन अ ऑड वैल्यू. सो जैसे यहाँ पे 5 नहीं आ सकता, सो इट हैज टू बी आइदर 4 और इट हैज टू बी 6. तो अब यहां से अगर हम चेक करना स्टार्ट करें, if it is let's say 6, the maximum possibility, if this is 6, this has to be 4 then to make it a sum of 10, but 4 तो आ नहीं सकता because it will be decreasing in order. That means it is going to be 4. Let's check. So if this is 4, this has to be 6 and this is perfectly fine. So we can place a 4 here and we can place a 6 here, right? And the column sum is going to be 80. Now let's proceed further. Now what is that next case we should check for? Let's check for this R3 maybe, right? For R3 the current sum is 6 plus 6, that is 12, and 4 16, 16 and this is 8 24, 24 and 4 28, 28 and 7 35, 35 and 5 40, 40 and 10 is 50, 56, 56 and 7 is 63. So we are currently standing at 63. Now the closest multiple was 64, but we needed only one increment, but but 3 blocks are remaining, so we cannot have just one. So we go to the next possibility and that is directly 80, right? So if I have to take this 63 to 80, we need an additional maybe 17 in this. Now let's check again for the maximum possibility. That will tell me if I have to go to say 80 or more, right? Now the maximum possibility could be 7 here, 5 and 5 here. So 5, 5 and 7 already gives me 17. So we cannot have any value less than that, right? Also we cannot go ahead of it, right? Because we are already using the maximum possibility. So we can conclude from this that this row has a total of 80 and the remaining values have to be the maximum possible, that is again 7, 5 and 5. So we already have figured out this 80. Now what is left? These two columns, this C2 column and this C3 column. Let's do the same thing again. So let's add up this C3. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 8 plus 8 is 16, 16 and 3 is 19, 19 plus 20 gives me 39, 39 3, 39 3 is 42, 42 and 10 52, 57, 57 and this 3 would give me 60 and this is 66. So we currently are standing at 66. Now we have already crossed this 64 thing, so we'll need to reach 80 from here, right? To reach 80 we need an additional 14 from here. Now we again remember this is the first row, right? Only we can have these even values. Now how do we reach even values? Also one thing is very important, only for R2 we could have had 2-digit numbers, not for any other row. So the maximum these values could reach as even numbers is 8 and 8. We cannot have equal values, right? 8 and 8, so it could be 16. So maximum आप इसको 16 लेके जा सकते हो, but we need 14 from this, right? So how do we make 14 from two even values? If I take an 8, I can take this value 6. So this is one possibility. Can I have any other possibility? The answer is no, because अगर आप 8 नहीं लोगे, अगर आप 6 लोगे तो maximum sum आपका 6 plus 6 से 12 भी बन पाएगा, but we need 14 from this. So we can conclude the remaining two values in this particular row are 6 followed by 8. Order is also fixed and this column sum is also going to be 80. Right, so we have almost done for all the rows and all the columns except for C2. Let's check for C2. C2 sum is 2 plus 2 4, 4 and this is 14. So 14 plus 4 18, 18 and this 8 is 26, 26 and 7 is 33, 33 and 7 would be 40, 47, 47 and 5, this would be 52, 52 and 4 56, 56 and maybe this 4 is 60, 56 6 plus 4 is 60, and this is 64. So we are already standing at 64. Now we need to go ahead of this because we need two values which are obviously non-zero. So 64 has to be taken to 80, the next multiple of 16, and we need an additional 16 here. So again, the only possible values, if you closely notice, we cannot have a two-digit number. So 16 can only be made out of 8 and 8. Right? So again, the sum of this particular column C2 is going to be 80. Right? Now we have completed all the rows and all the columns. Let's add also this R1 row. So this is 2 plus 2 plus 3. So this is 6 plus 3, 9. 9, 8 is 17. 17 and 6 is 23. 23 and 3 is 26. 26 and 8 is 34. 34 and 8 is 42. 42 and 4 is 46. 46 and 4 is 50. 56. 56 and 4 60, and this is 64. Right? So we have figured out all the possible values. Now using this, we can now solve all the problems as well. Let's take a look at them. So this says, what is the average number of marbles kept in each of the 16 boxes of the first row? So the sum is 64, so it has to be 64 by 16, and that is going to be 4. Next problem, which of the following values is the maximum? Let's check. Marbles kept in boxes kept in column 2. So column 2 is 80. Okay. The next is marbles kept in column 3. Column 3 is also again 80. So this is not going to be the answer because we are looking for the maximum thing. Number of boxes is R2. So R2 is actually 96, and we already see there is nothing more than 96. So this is definitely going to be our correct answer. Next, third problem. What is the total number of marbles in the 4 boxes in the second column of the first row? So second column of the first row, this addition has to be given as the answer. So 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 and this is 16. So this has to be 20. This is done. How many boxes contain even number of marbles? So we could simply count all the even values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, then 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 and 32. So there are 32 boxes with even number of marbles. Right? So I hope you have understood this set. Thank you.